Well, we're joined by Canadian music legend and Canadian legend Tom Cochrane as you're playing here tonight. I want to thank you for sitting down with us here today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you. So let's start off with the tour, kind of a mini tour, as you went through Fort Saskatchewan into Lloyd, and you're heading to Camrose after this. So let's kind of talk more about the tour here.
Yeah, we started on the island, and it was gorgeous. A little chilly for this time of year. Usually it's been warmer out there for us, but it was great. We did 4 shows out there in a row, and then we moved to the interior of BC and did Cranbrook and Kamloops, and then made our way into the great province of Alberta, which we love, which has always supported, you know, Red Rider and Tom Cochrane through the lean years as well as the big boom years and currently. So it's just wonderful to, you know, I've always believed in supporting the small towns, and it's great doing this kind of tour where we avoid the big markets for the most part, except for Calgary. We did a show in Calgary, and but for the most part, it's been smaller markets, and you know, I think that's kind of the lifeblood of this country, really, and defines our country almost more than the big cities do, or the smaller cities and towns. So it's good to do this tour. We did one similar last year through Ontario, better part of Ontario, and did the same thing. A lot of towns we hadn't played for a while, you know, St. Catharines and Sarnia and that. And they're wonderful halls in general.
Absolutely.
You know, these halls are really good halls to play, and it's intimate, and so we can really get a strong rapport with the crowd and get a real connection with the crowd, so it's good.
Absolutely. Well, it's the 25-year anniversary of Mad Mad World, and I kind of want to talk about just the importance of that album, not only for you, but I guess for everyone who kind of listened. Well, yeah, I mean, of Canada, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was a big record internationally too. Probably the only really huge record that I had internationally, because it was a Tom Cochrane record, and it was actually. So we did that tour actually 2 years ago. So this is actually 27 years, but it was. Yeah, it was just one of those records that you have no idea when you make a record like that just how big it's going to be. It was Diamond, and of course there's only a couple of Canadian male singer-songwriters that have had Diamond records, and it's gone on to be almost 2 times Diamond, so 2 million units, which is kind of unprecedented in Canada, and then another you know, million or so worldwide. So it was one of those records, and Life's a Highway is just one of those songs that just keeps giving, and it keeps going, and it's put a lot of tanks of fuel in the old tour bus. So it's been Life's a Highway, and with Rascal Flatts' version in that, and also the late great Chris Ledoux was kind of like an American stomp of Tom Connors. That it was a country hit with him. So it's just one of those songs that you can't beat with a stick. It just keeps going because it makes people feel good, makes them want to dance, it makes them. It gets them really gets people going, so it's good.
Absolutely. So I do just want to talk about, we are running a little bit out of time here, but I do have a couple more questions for you. I want to talk about just as songwriting grows, I guess, and as you've been through so much, whether it be on the road or you know, living, right? How does writing songs kind of change throughout the years? And I know the music industry is always changing. So how does writing music and making music change? Well,
you know, for me, it doesn't change. I mean, it's a cyclical thing. I'm not one of these guys that is writing all the time. I keep notes and sketches, I call them, so small music sketches and motifs and that, and ideas, and you store them up, you write them down, and then you get into that period where you feel that urge to do it, and that urge to get a record done and create something and get a bunch of things off your chest, and I feel that period is coming again, and we'll do something new. This Revisited that we just released are a bunch of re-records, just to remind people that we still play these songs really well. I feel that period is coming again, and we'll do something new. This Revisited that we just released are a bunch of re-records, just to remind people that we still play these songs really well. But we pump 50 pounds of air in some of the songs. It just people listen to it and they won't hear that much difference until they put it up against the originals. But and then a couple of gems in there that I've started to play acoustically, but we did them pretty much the way they were. Ocean Blue, for instance, off the Boy Inside the Man record, and so that was fun doing that and getting that out there and streaming a bunch of those songs and getting that CD out for this mini tour, and then we're doing a festival tour in the summertime. We're doing so far, I think we got about 9 or 10 festival dates, and we're doing the halftime show in Edmonton.
Wicked.
So that's going to be fun. That's the season opener with the Eskimos. So it's we're supporters of Canadian Football League, CFL, so it's going to be fun doing that as well.
And just one more question here. We are kind of approaching the 1-year anniversary of the Humboldt Broncos bus crash,
right, yeah.
and you did just kind of modify your song Big League for them, and I just kind of want to talk to you the importance of the song like that, and just how it kind of felt for you to be a part of such a big thing here in Canada.
Well, I mean, the song obviously, it was a horrible tragedy. It was something that I'd often said before that happened that hockey is a tie that binds all these small communities together, especially in the prairies. And it resonates with all of us as Canadians across this country. And then Humboldt happened, and if there's anything that is remotely decent that came out of it was the fact that it united the country in empathy and compassion for the poor families and the kids, and we all felt it very, very deeply. And so to have that song, I was initially approached by James Duthie from Sportsnet, or just TSN, Sportsnet, one of the two anyways. And I said, no, James, I can't do that. I haven't talked to any of the families and that. And he said, well, I have, and I think they Chris Joseph in particular expressed he'd like you to do it. And of course, his son Jackson was a great kid and a great player with the Broncos, and there was 4 of them from St. Albert. And then of course, kids from various places and a bunch of kids from Saskatchewan. So I was very, very humbled to do it. They did it in a respectful manner, and we did it with complete and utter respect for the families, and that's what we did. James said, well, the song, I think, if you perform the song, it might help start a little bit of the healing process, and so we did it, and it was hard to get through it. I think I did 2 passes at it. We did it early on the Monday morning, or Tuesday morning, and then did a couple of passes, and it was hard to get through it, without kind of taking pause and breaking down a little bit. It was strong because we really did. We all did.
Absolutely.
You did. We all were really touched by that tragedy, but we are coming up to the anniversary, so God bless those families and how strong they were when I did this function in St. Albert back in November or late October, and they, such dignity.
Absolutely.
From these families, and heart goes out to them.
Absolutely. Well, Tom, I want to thank you so much for coming on and letting us come in. And
well, it's been my pleasure, guys.
Best luck for the rest of
It's great being back here in Lloydminster. It's such a wonderful town, and one of the only towns in Canada, the only town in Canada that is part in Saskatchewan, part in Alberta. So it's kind of cool from that point of view. Some great hockey players have come from here.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you again. More primetime local news coming up.
Great.